Rick Harrison, the legendary face behind Pawn Stars, has built his empire on rare treasures and shocking deals, but nothing could prepare him for the heartbreaking reality he now faces at 59. The reality TV mogul has confirmed a truth that fans never saw coming. His son's life sentence is real. The news has sent shockwaves through the Pawn Stars community, leaving many wondering what happened, how did things spiral so drastically, and what does this mean for the Harrison family's future? Join us as we uncover the tragic story behind the stunning revelation. Pawn Stars. At the heart of it all was Richard Oldman Harrison, a 77-year-old veteran and businessman who co-founded the famous pawn shop in Las Vegas with decades of experience and a non-nonsense attitude. "I'm 68 years old, and if it's off a little bit, I'm entitled." He quickly became a fan favorite and the undisputed authority in the shop, but when he passed away in 2018, everything changed, both for the family and the business. His son Rick Harrison was the mastermind behind turning the pawn shop into a television sensation. "Then we opened up a pawn shop, so it's all I've ever done. I enjoy doing it." So there's just a lot of things going on there. From the very beginning, Rick understood that pawn wasn't just about buying and selling, it was about the stories behind the items. "These I've had over the years, but I have never had like two perfect ones though," as he put it. "Everyone loves a story, whether it was an antique worth millions at an auction or a rare collectible. The value often lay in its history, not just its price tag." Rick built the gold and silver pawn shop from scratch, starting with just a basic understanding of gold and silver. In the early days, making a profit was tough. Many times he loaned out more money than he made, but he didn't give up. Over time, he honed his skills, expanded his knowledge, and earned a reputation as a trusted expert in the pawn industry. Then, in 2009, everything changed. The History Channel launched Pawn Stars, a reality show that gave viewers a front-row seat to the fascinating world of pawn broking. The show followed Rick, his father, his son Cory "Big Hose" Harrison, and Cory's friend Austin "Chumlee" Russell, as they dealt with customers bringing in all sorts of weird and wonderful items. Some days people walked in with rare comic books, other days they came in claiming to have ancient Egyptian artifacts. Every day was unpredictable, which made the job exciting and the show addictive to watch. But Pawn Stars wasn't just about the items, it was about the people. Fans loved the witty back and forth between Rick and his father, while Chumlee's goofy, sometimes clueless personality added humor to the mix. As the show's popularity skyrocketed, the pawn shop became more than just a business, it became a landmark. However, behind the scenes, not everything was smooth sailing. As Pawn Stars gained fame, family tensions boiled over into a nasty legal battle. According to USA Today, Rick's mother, Joanne Harrison, filed a lawsuit against him, claiming to disputes over family assets and the ownership of the gold and silver pawn shop. What started as a family-run business had turned into a battleground for control and inheritance. Joanne's legal team took action by filing a civil lawsuit in Nevada State Court targeting Rick Harrison and several entities connected to the gold and silver pawn shop. The lawsuit also named Harrison Properties, Joe Rick Properties, and other business interests as defendants. At the heart of the case was a breach of contract claim stemming from Joanne's long marriage to Rick's father, Richard Harrison, which lasted 58 years. The lawsuit alleged that in the early 2000s, when Joanne was hospitalized and had just emerged from AA, Rick had her sign over her 51% ownership of the pawn shop to him. Later, when Joanne fully realized what had happened, or what she may have been pressured into doing, she pushed back, arguing that she was not in the right state of mind to make such a decision at the time. The legal battle escalated further after Richard's passing in 2018. Joanne was supposed to inherit his remaining 49% stake in the pawn shop, but she claimed that Rick had not provided her with a full account of the business's financial records. According to her, she had been unable to get proper documentation for over $500,000 in cash and silver that Richard had amassed before his death. As the lawsuit moved forward, Rick's financial empire faced serious risks. The lawsuit not only demanded unspecified damages and a complete financial accounting of assets, but it also sought a court order preventing Rick from using any funds belonging to Joanne. Additionally, Joanne requested that a constructive trust be placed over property that rightfully belonged to her. Responding to the allegations, Rick spoke to the Las Vegas Review-Journal firm denying the claims, and as far as haggling, I'd probably say women, and it's a real pain to try and go out to dinner somewhere without. He suggested that his 81-year-old mother was being influenced by others with their own agendas. However, the legal trouble was just one of the many issues hitting the family business. According to the Daily Mail, the gold and silver pawn shop, which usually generated over $1 million in annual revenue, suffered a major financial blow in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, bringing in just $37,000. Despite this setback, Joanne continued her legal fight and went a step further by filing a restraining order against Rick. Her goal was to prevent him from selling off family assets. She also claimed that Rick had stopped sending her the money she was owed from Richard's share of the business. At first, Rick had been giving Joanne regular payments of $225,000 but in 2020 those payments stopped. It seemed like he was struggling with depression after all. One of the biggest signs of depression is constant anger, and then there was the hair loss. Someone even joked that he might have been going through menopause for a decade, the longest case in history. Frustrated by the sudden cut in financial support, Joe and took action. She filed for a restraining order, not just to get the payments reinstated through the courts, but also to prevent Rick from moving money around, hiding assets, or doing anything that could reduce her financial stake in the family business. But there was more to the story. According to reports, Joanne was 81 years old and dealing with serious health problems that required around-the-clock medical care that came with a staggering price tag of up to $115,000 per month. What really blindsided Rick, though, was how he found out about the restraining order, not through Joanne or her lawyers, but from news reports. Shocked, he tried reaching out to her multiple times over the following months. It's like anything else. There's good, there's bad. It's a fact of life. Yeah, I get it from everywhere. I'm a big hit in Peru for some reason, hoping to work out a fairer solution for both of them, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get through to her. Could the breakdown in communication have made negotiations nearly impossible, trapping them in a legal battle with no clear escape? Let's find out. These controversies and arrest Austin Chumlee Russell, one of the most well-known cast members of Pawn Stars, has had his fair share of controversies. Back in 2012, TMZ reported that he was caught on camera getting into a physical fight with a man in Hollywood. After the scuffle, Chumlee quickly left the scene, while the other man was left bruised and bleeding on the side of the road. However, Chumlee claimed he was only defending himself, saying the man had threatened to pull a gun on him and his friends. According to Chumlee, he simply acted on instinct. Then you get something like JFK 6. I mean, I don't. That's where we call in people you know, and the guy didn't even realize he was fighting someone famous. Speaking to TMZ, Chumlee explained that the stranger just wanted a ride in their car and was looking for trouble, while he managed to avoid serious consequences. That time his luck would run out. Just a few years later, in 2016, things took a much darker turn. As reported by the Chicago Tribune, Chumlee was arrested and charged with multiple felonies, 20 in total. Pawn Stars Chumlee is getting by with no jail time. After his arrest for drug and gun possession, his punishment was still too harsh. The trouble started when police raided his Las Vegas home while investigating assault allegations against him. Chumlee was in court for less than 5 minutes. His home was raided while investigators looked into a possible sexual assault charge. During the search, officers reportedly found meth, marijuana, and at least one firearm. Although he wasn't officially charged with any related crimes, we pulled the records and take a look. Drug charges and one weapons charge, but sexual assault, no way. Las Vegas police spokesman Larry Hadfield confirmed that officers were looking into a complaint made by a woman. The investigation was ongoing and authorities were determined to uncover the truth. For someone who made a name for himself as the fun-loving, goofy sidekick on Pawn Stars, Chumlee's off-screen troubles painted a much different picture, one that shocked fans and left his future hanging in the balance. According to TMZ, Chumlee found himself in serious legal trouble when he became a suspect in an assault case, but that wasn't the worst of it. The Associated Press reported that records from the Clark County Detention Center showed he was also facing a stag-aging 19 charges related to drug possession and one charge for having an illegal weapon. After some time, assault charges were eventually dropped, but by then the damage was already done. His reputation had taken a massive hit, and the nightmare was far from over. During the investigation, police searched his home and uncovered a shocking stash of illegal substances. According to TMZ, officers seized a huge amount of drugs, including marijuana, meth, and Xanax. If that wasn't bad enough, they also found traces of cocaine and 12 firearms, 8 of which were unregistered. Realizing the weight of the evidence against him, Chumlee had no choice but to take a plea deal in an attempt to avoid serious jail time. He pleaded guilty to unlawful possession of a firearm, a felony, and attempted drug possession, a gross misdemeanor. Even though he managed to escape prison, the ordeal left a dark cloud over his career and personal life. Chumlee wasn't the only one dealing with controversy. Rick Harrison's son, Cory "Big Hoss" Harrison, also found himself making headlines, but for all the wrong reasons. Cory had always been determined to take over the family business one day, but his personal life seemed to keep getting in the way. Things took a bad turn during a motorcycle tour stop in Jefferson City, where his wild behavior at a bar called Spectators led to a humiliating scene. According to witnesses, Cory had been drinking heavily for a week straight. Before the incident, things got out of control when he shocked bar patrons by urinating in public and throwing a bar stool across the room. He was immediately kicked out of the bar, and the embarrassing episode quickly became a public scandal. Realizing the backlash, Cory later apologized publicly, trying his best to repair his image, but trouble seemed to follow him wherever he went. In 2021, he was once again in the spotlight, this time for a messy legal dispute. According to TMZ, Cory had rented an RV for a short getaway in the California desert in 2020, But things took a turn when the vehicle's owner William Vallano claimed Cory failed to return it on time and in one piece instead of getting the RV back as scheduled. Vallano said Cory's assistant called a day later saying they had been in an accident and were arranging for it to be towed. However, it took another 2 days before the vehicle finally showed up completely wrecked. The damage to the RV was far worse than just the usual dents and scrapes from a crash. Reports claimed that the vehicle's awning had been completely torn off, and the inside was a complete mess littered with empty bottles, eggs, and who knows what else. It sounded like an absolute wreck, according to TMZ. The estimated repair costs could reach a staggering $30,000. On top of that, the RV's owner Fa claimed that he had to cancel 10 reservations because the vehicle was in no condition to be rented out. He also accused Harrison of refusing to cover the damages, which left him no choice but to file a police report. As media attention grew, Cory's representative attempted to downplay the situation, explaining that when Cory rented the RV, its slide-out sections wouldn't retract, making it impossible to drive. That was the only official statement given to TMZ. The representative insisted that Cory had the RV towed back to Las Vegas and let his insurance take care of the issue. Legally, Cory managed to avoid serious consequences, but his public image took a hit. However, legal troubles were just one of the many challenges he was facing. His personal life was already full of strength struggles, including a dangerous battle with his weight. By 2010, his health concerns led him to undergo gastric bypass surgery, which helped him lose over 100 pounds despite shedding the weight. The stress of fame, running the pawn shop, and trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle continued to take a toll on him. One silver lining was his friendship with Chumlee, which remained strong. Inspired by Cory's transformation, Chumlee also embarked on his own weight loss journey. But even with moments of success, that, the other, and Candy just popped up, and we thought, what's funner than like Candy, right? Yeah, could there still be more troubles? Let's explore further. Pawn Stars expert. Scandals. For years, Pawn Stars was a hit because of its mix of history, unique finds, and the entertaining personalities of Rick, Cory, and Chumlee. But while these three were the faces of the show, a big part of its appeal came from the experts who helped evaluate the rare and valuable items that passed through the shop. These specialists became fan favorites, impressing viewers with their deep knowledge of everything from ancient coins to famous autographs. However, not all of them maintained spotless reputations. Some found themselves in hot water, casting doubt on their reliability and even tarnishing the credibility of the show itself. One such expert was Johnny Himmon Jr., known for his expertise in vintage toys. It changes from week to week at the store, but currently we have like the Atomic Energy Lab that has a radioactive material. He made headlines for all the wrong reasons when he was caught on camera allegedly assaulting his girlfriend outside a Las Vegas restaurant. The footage obtained by TMZ showed what appeared to be a heated altercation, and the scandal quickly damaged his reputation. Jimenez defended himself, claiming that he was simply trying to help his intoxicated girlfriend move after a wild night out, but the damage was done. His credibility as an expert took a serious hit. Another notable misstep came from John Resnikoff. Hi, my name is John Resnikoff. I'm the owner of University Archives. We buy and sell autographs, and I do a fair bit of authenticating as well. A specialist in autograph authentication. In 2011, he made a high-profile blunder when he incorrectly identified a signature on a script from The Godfather. Resnikoff confidently declared that the autograph belonged to legendary actor Al Pacino, but it was later revealed to be the signature of producer Al Ruddy instead. While some fans saw this as a minor mistake, others wondered if similar errors had gone unnoticed in the past. But the biggest scandal of all came in 2015, involving sports memorabilia. EXP Drew Max. Unlike Resnikoff's simple misidentification, Max was accused of outright fraud in New Jersey. He allegedly authenticated fake sports memorabilia that was later sold at auctions, scamming buyers who trusted his word as angry customers realized they had been duped. Lawsuits followed. Max was accused of using his Pawn Stars fame to build his reputation in the collectibles world, only to use that trust to mislead people. This controversy rocked the show's credibility. Fans began to wonder just how many other items featured on Pawn Stars had been falsely authenticated. While some argued that mistakes are inevitable, few came to Max's defense. His actions didn't just cost people money, they damaged the entire show's reputation. As these controversies piled up, Pawn Stars slowly changed. When it first started, it was a mix of history and entertainment, with Rick and his team providing genuine insight into the rare treasures brought into the shop. The unpredictability of what might walk through the doors was part of the magic. One day it could be a medieval sword, the next a signed Beatles album, but as time passed the show felt less authentic. Reports surfaced that many sellers and their items were pre-selected and appraisals were often Done ahead of time, this removed the sense of spontaneity that had once drawn viewers in. Even the lively arguments between the cast, once natural and amusing, started feeling scripted. Instead of focusing on fascinating historical finds, the show began leaning more into family drama. Fans who had originally tuned in to learn about valuable artifacts and their stories now found themselves watching something that felt more like a reality soap opera. The once beloved cast members even started to seem like exaggerated versions of themselves. Rick as the non-nonsense businessman, Cory as the ambitious but sometimes clueless heir, and Chumlee as the comic relief whose off-screen legal troubles made his on-screen persona harder to believe. As if scandals and changing content weren't enough, Pawn Stars also struggled with expanding its brand. Rick saw an opportunity to capitalize on the show's popularity by launching Pawn Plaza, a retail and restaurant center near the pawn shop. The idea was that fans visited Pawn Stars would also stop by the plaza, bringing in business, but the venture flopped. Many of the businesses in Pawn Plaza struggled due to low foot traffic, and frustrated shop owners later claimed that Rick hadn't done enough to promote the location. What was supposed to be a thriving extension of Pawn Stars turned into a failure, leading to several businesses shutting down, and even lawsuits from former tenants if a so-called expert could misidentify something as famous as The Godfather. What other mistakes had been made on the show? Let's take a closer look. Legacy marred by controversy. Pawn Stars was more than just a reality show. It was a game-changer for television. What started as a small family-owned pawn shop in Las Vegas turned into a worldwide phenomenon, attracting millions of viewers. The show introduced people to the fascinating world of antiques, rare collectibles, and historical artifacts, turning everyday negotiations into captivating stories. The charm of Pawn Stars lay in its simplicity, a team of ordinary yet entertaining personalities dealing with extraordinary items, each with its own unique past. It wasn't just about buying and selling, it was about uncovering history, learning the art of negotiation, and witnessing the unpredictable surprises that walked through the shop's doors. However, fame comes with a price. As Pawn Stars rose to success, so did the controversies surrounding it. Legal troubles behind theft scenes, conflicts, and questions about the authenticity of appraisals began to overshadow its once pristine reputation. The very show that educated and entertained millions became a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of stardom and the pressure of maintaining a flawless public image. Despite its struggles, Pawn Stars remains one of the most influential reality shows in television history. The guy owned the pawn shop in Vegas to like an actual celebrity, where everyone knew who you were. Do you remember when that changed? It provided an inside look at the challenges of running a family business while navigating the ever-changing backdrop of Las Vegas. More than just a pawn shop, it became a symbol of American entrepreneurship, resilience, and the timeless appeal of uncovering hidden treasures. Though its future may be uncertain, its impact on pop culture is undeniable, and its legacy will continue to spark curiosity for years to come. What do you think about Rick Harrison's confirmation of his son's life sentence? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe.